just as an interesting exercise, go on your demo account and try to lose 10 trades in a row and see what happens. It's a curious exercise. Are you going to win more or are you going to lose more? You actually might be more successful. Like, oh, I can lose. Well, guess what? If you can purposely lose trades, you can purposely win trades.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Anarchy Podcast. 99% of traders will never make consistent profits. So why listen to the 99% of advice? On this show, we're going to challenge some of the most hallowed and repeated tenets of trading, and in doing so, set you up to succeed where others fail. Spoiler alert, we don't have a secret strategy or magic wand that will let you skip out on the hard work of learning the markets, but we can debunk viewpoints that are holding you back. If that sounds good to you, come join us.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Anarchy Podcast. Day trading is a game of ebbs and flows. You have times when you do better, you have times when you do worse, and you have times where you do much worse. And sometimes you go through periods where you're losing, or maybe you started better and now you're worse and you're wondering why. We want to talk about that. We want to talk about maybe a way to switch your thinking around and make you see the bright side in losing and the bright side of those losing streaks. So we wanted to talk about that today. Jordan, how you doing?
Doing well, Levi. Yeah, I think this topic is really interesting because I think this is something that you and I had to work through and figure out because I think we've mentioned it before, when we first started our day trading career, so to speak, and we were paper trading and just starting out, it was so easy. We were making money, we were making calls, we were in the flow. And then about a month or two in, we hit the proverbial edge of the cliff, and we then, as I think you've mentioned before, you lost what, 30 trades in a row or something like that, which is statistically impossible.
Yeah.
And I want to discuss why losing is actually a really good indicator that you're actually learning, right? Like being a consistent loser means you have the ability to be a consistent winner.
Yeah, it's interesting. So if you're consistently losing, it means you do have an edge. It's just an opposite edge. It's an anti-edge, weirdly enough. So like, I mean, we've again mentioned this before, but if you're breaking even, that means you're not actually doing anything, right? Like
you're flipping a coin.
Yeah. You're flipping a coin. A randomized machine, a monkey sitting in front of a keyboard would over time break even. I mean, that's how the market works. So if you're consistently losing, that means you do have an edge. The question is, how do you all you have to do is flip it around. All you have to do is find out what your issues are and flip them around. What's causing me to lose money? Where am I extending my losses? Am I cutting my winners short? Okay, well then maybe I just need to cut my losers short and let my winners run. Like what am I doing now? And now I can switch it around. It's a really interesting mindset shift. If you're a losing trader, you've all you have to do is switch around what you're doing. Now, that's obviously much more difficult than what I'm saying. It's much harder to do that and say that. But it's if you're a break-even trader, you've got nothing to go on. This is an issue we've mentioned before in the indicators podcast, in our podcast on indicators. Is a lot of traders get stuck in that break-even phase and they never get past it.
Yeah, and they think that they're actually improving because they're not losing anymore. They're like, oh, I'm a break-even trader now, I'm improving. And they actually are not getting better at all. If anything, they've gotten worse, which is kind of funny.
Because they've taken, it's very easy to get an indicator, right? Buy an indicator online, turn your brain off to a point where you've mechanized your trading to the point where you're not using your brain. And your trading does go from losing to break even. because you've just, again, we've made an indicator based off of astrology. DM us if you want us to throw that your way. But you can literally make indicators that you can plug in your astrological sign, and we have a year's worth of backtesting data. Amazing. 80% returns, crazy stuff, right? Well, yeah, but going forward, it's just random, right? So you've now broken even. Congrats. You're not getting any better. So there is a positive thing about losing, that because when you're losing, it means you're learning something. There is something there. There is there's some nugget of truth that you can pull out of that. And that's what a lot of people, I think, don't realize about their losing seasons. When you're losing, it means you're learning something, or there's potential. Well, let
Well,
me
no,
clarify.
no, no.
There's potential to learn something. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Because a lot of people can learn, and a lot of people can lose, 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 and never learn. Right? They don't track their trades. They never review their trades. They never go and you dig into that data and figure out what they are supposed to learn, and they can just waste all that losing, which sucks, because why the hell would you want to waste losing? Losing sucks. So if you're going to lose, better use that losing to learn something. But yeah, when you're losing, it's an opportunity to learn. There is something there. And that's a really big mindset shift that's important to get.
Hey everyone, Levi here to quickly ask if you're finding value in the podcast. We would love it if you'd take a moment to follow the show and leave a review. It helps us out a lot and enables us to bring you the best possible content. Thanks for being part of the community. We love you guys.
Yeah, and a funny exercise that may be worth a lot of traders doing, just to kind of experience different psychology and how their brain works, is this is actually a suggestion by Mark Douglas, stealing it from him. He suggests going and trying to lose 10 trades in a row. So just as an interesting exercise, go on your demo account and try to lose 10 trades in a row and see what happens. Like it's a curious exercise because you may be surprised to see what happens. You would think, okay, if I try to lose 10 in a row, are you going to win more or are you going to lose more? Well, you might
Yeah.
be surprised because when you're trying to lose, you're like, oh, I'm just going to try to lose. You actually might be more successful. You like, oh, I can lose. Well, guess what? If you can purposely lose trades, you can purposely win trades. Now,
Yeah.
all it is just changing around your psychology. So I challenge you, like if you're a losing trader right now, pull out your paper trading account and try to lose 10 trades in a row. And then just jot down how you felt during that exercise, what you experienced, what you thought about, because it is an interesting thing to try.
Yeah, I love that. I've never personally done that. I'm gonna try that. Um, there's another aspect to losing, more, um, and how that applies to to learning, which is you're always going to be better right when you start. It's called beginner's luck, and it's real, and it's not luck at all. Beginner's luck is real because when you first start something, you're not thinking about anything, and you're just flowing, and you have no pressure, nothing to prove, and you're just doing it, right? Um, it's the person, it's the newbie who's goes, you take your new friend to play poker, and they mop up and take everybody's money, and everybody's ticked off, right? He
Or
has
it's like
no
taking your
idea.
friend, yeah, it's like taking your friend bowling and he bowls a 150,
Yeah, yeah,
without even trying.
unbelievable, right? And it's frustrating to watch. Oh, this new guy, what's he doing? Or when you do something new and it's so easy. The problem is when when you start learning, you have to get out of that flow state. All of a sudden, you have to start critiquing everything you do, and all of a sudden, all of that beginner's luck disappears, right? And you're terrible. So when you start losing, remember you're losing for a reason. You're losing because there's parts of your game that are not up to par. As you work on those, and you have to be working on them, as you work on them, weirdly enough, you get beginner's luck back. But now it's not beginners and it's not luck. You get that flow state back. If you can get back to the state where you're in flow again, you're not thinking and there's no pressure, but now you have all that experience behind you, you get back to that point of beginner's luck. And you get past the losses. You can use those losses as a lesson to push you forward.
Yeah. The lessons that you learn from losing can be used to become a winner. But as you said, it's so important. And this is where I think, and we talked about this just a couple podcasts ago about on our practice podcast, is just because you're losing doesn't mean that you're getting better. You have to constantly be learning and refining. And so, as you said, you've got to, and the number one way you do that, of course, is through journaling. But I would say also accountability. So if you combine journaling with then someone, as you mentioned, Levi, in about community, how important it is to have accountability. If you can combine your journaling with accountability, a second set of eyes, a second person to ask you how things are going, second person to kind of look at your trades and go, hey, this is what's going on. Have you thought about this? Or it looks like you were a bit fearful here. Why in the world did you put your stop loss there? Or why did you move your stop loss, et cetera, et cetera? That is what it will take to really catapult your trading to becoming successful. And I would say finally, my other last little tidbit is sometimes just getting plain old disgusted with yourselves, right? Like a lot of times, like I occasionally will watch someone live streaming a trading online because it fascinates me to watch like just these low subscriber live streams sometimes. So, someone with 1,000 subscribers or something, and I'll go watch their live stream. And the fact watching them trade and seeing them lose a trade, and then they're like, yeah, I revenge trade today, or I blew an account today. Like at some point, there are things that every losing trader knows they shouldn't be doing. Like there's some things that you go, oh, I don't know why I'm losing, or I can't fix that. But there are some serious things that everyone knows. They're like, yeah, I lost and I was just revenge trading, or I shouldn't have been trading that day, or I shouldn't have done that. Like there's things that that you've got to get to the point where you're disgusted with yourself, where you're fed up with yourself enough that you're willing to put in the, whatever steps you need to make sure you don't do those things. As I love that quote, Levi, you always mention with Dwight, I think, would an idiot do that? If they would, then I don't do that thing. You have to become to the point where you go, I'm not going to be an idiot anymore. And you get so fed up with yourself that you're willing to do the hard thing to turn that losing around to then become winning.